Welcome to our virtual yoga class. We'll go ahead and begin class by laying on our back. Take a moment to arrive there. You can rest your hands on your belly, your chest, or hands can frame your hips, palms facing up towards the ceiling. We'll invite a generous breath. Feel free to exhale side out. Noticing that it's a practice to create spaciousness in the body. Generous inhale, belly expands, ribcage expands. Optional open mouth exhale. Soften your neck, shoulders down the length of your spine to your hips, behind your knees, ankles and toes. Softening the body, yet remaining attentive and aware with your breath. Noticing the quality of your breath, and then noticing that our breath is our focusing tool as we work on strength, flexibility, and balance, and as we build the bridge of the physical, mental, emotional body. Release to-do lists of earlier in the day. Release to-do lists for later in the afternoon or evening. Take a deep belly breath, belly expands. Invite about 2 more intentional breaths here. And then on the following inhale, we'll lift our arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, palms face the back, lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling, point your toes. Gentle stretch here throughout the length of the spine, around the shoulders and arms. And then release your hands. We'll bend our left knee. Grab your knee with your hand. Round your spine, forehead to your knee. Now hold here. Elbows remain close to your torso. Chin towards your chest to open and release throughout the neck. Back of the upper back. And then drop your head back. Inhale here, exhale. Bend both knees, both hands grab your knees. Rock to the left and to the right. Extend that left leg, that left foot on the floor. Grab your knee with your hands around your spine, forehead towards your knee, hold. Activating your core here, keep your elbows close to your torso. And now release your head back. Bend both knees, rock to the left and to the right. Massaging around the lower back and around the tailbone. Lengthen both legs up towards the ceiling. Palms on the floor. Slowly release your heels. Allow them to hover off the floor, 1 foot, 2 feet off the floor. Hold here. You're engaging your glutes, quads. The core is active. Palms soft on the floor. Inhale, exhale, and release your heels on the floor. Bend both knees. Second round. Lengthen your legs up towards the ceiling. Slowly release your legs. Heels hover off the floor. 1 foot, 2 feet off the floor. Find that point you're comfortable with. And release. Soften the tailbone. Invite an intentional breath. And then last round, we bend our knees, lengthen our legs up towards the ceiling, slowly release our heels. Find that point to hover. Core is active. Be gentle with your lower back and release your heels on the floor. Bend both knees. Grab your knees with your hands. Round your spine. Forehead up towards your knees. Elbows close to your thighs or torso. Drop your head back. Rock to the left and to the right. Protect that lower back around the tailbone. And then we'll shift into a twist, dropping our knees towards the left, bringing our arms out to a T. Drop your head towards the right. Soften your body. Remain in this pose for a few breaths. It's a purposeful pose where you soften the body. Soften down the neck, down the length of the spine, especially around the hips. You can imagine your knees softening further towards the floor. To get the full benefit of this twist, make sure your head and your knees are facing opposite directions. It's difficult to take a full breath in a twist, so invite a comfortable breath. Now knees come back to center. Drop your knees towards the right. Drop your head towards the left. Arms remain at that T. Eyes closed or open. Soften the neck, down the spine, especially around the hips. Imagine your knees softening further towards the floor. Invite a comfortable breath. One more breath here. Inhale, exhale. Knees come back to center. Grab your knees with your hands. Round your spine. Forehead towards your knee. Hold. And then lift up, lengthening your left leg out in front. Press that right foot right against your thigh. You can flex that left foot. Inhale here. Lengthen your spine. And then leading with your chest to your heart, drop your belly towards the mat. Hands can rest anywhere, thighs, shins, or toes. Remain here about 5 breath cycles. You don't necessarily have to count the breaths. You're noticing your boundary and noticing where can you fold just a little bit more. And invite your breath to assist you. Deep belly breath. Start to release. Plant that right foot onto the floor. We'll shift into another twist here. Lengthen your arm out and then twist towards the right. Elbow hooks on your knee. You're taking your gaze over that right shoulder. You're simultaneously lengthening the spine while flexing that left foot towards the front. Hold. And then release. Opposite side, lengthen that right leg. Press your left foot right against your thigh. You can either flex that right foot for a more intense stretch, or you can soften that right foot. Lead through your chest, your belly. First, lengthen your spine, draw your shoulders down, and then hold. Your attention is mostly around the hamstrings, but you can notice your calf muscle, anywhere behind the knees, hips, lower back. Notice where your boundary is and see if you can fold just a little bit more. Use your breath to assist you. Neck and shoulders remain relaxed. One more intentional breath here. Belly expands. You can exhale, release the pose. Plant that left foot on the mat, knees bent. Lift your right arm, twist towards the left. Elbow hooks on your knee. Left hand behind you. Take your gaze over that left shoulder the best that you can. Flex your right foot. Lengthen your spine. We have a tendency to collapse our spine. Make sure your spine is long. Inhale here. And then exhale, release. Both soles of the feet come to touch. And then as you're here, you have two options. As you fold down, you can fold down similar to what a cow pose looks like, where you're opening the chest, sliding your shoulders back. Or you can round your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest. Hold. Deep belly breath here. Feel free to hear your inhale and your exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Release the pose. We'll shift back into a cross-legged position. Lengthen your spine, slide your shoulders down. Take 1 breath. Inhale, exhale. Palms are softly on the knees. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears and then draw them down. See if you can sync up your breath. Inhaling, lifting your shoulders, and then exhaling, sliding your shoulders down. Now, as I slide my shoulders down, I purposely knit those shoulder blades closer together. My elbows even start to shift a little bit more towards each other as I draw the shoulders down. So I'm being purposeful here, opening throughout the shoulders, the upper back, even the mid back. Inhaling up, and then exhaling down. And part of the practice throughout the class is to sync up our breath with our body's movements. Now, don't stress out if your breath is not totally lined up, but it's a way to start integrating physically, mentally, emotionally, focusing on the breath, building that bridge. Wherever you're at, about 1 more round, and then release. Hands lift, take your hands right behind your head. Press your elbows towards the back, and now twist towards the left and towards the right. If you move so slowly here to notice the effects of the twist on your lower back, mid back, between your shoulder blades. If one side requires some extra attention, remain there, hold the pose. Take a comfortable breath. Release your hands. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Now round your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest, palms towards the front of the room. And then start to shift forward, hands on the floor to assist you as you lift up into your forward fold. Your feet are hips width distance apart, and then you're watching for good bend to your knees, and then relax your neck, your head. Plant that left hand firmly on the floor, shin or thigh, bending that left knee generously. Simultaneously lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Place some extra weight there on that right heel. Lengthening that leg, it can be subtle. You want to intensify that stretch in the hamstrings, hips, and glutes. Don't forget to breathe here. And release. Opposite side. Right hand on the floor, shin or thigh. Lift that left arm up. Right knee is generously bent. Place some extra weight on that left heel, lengthen your leg. There's a lot going on here, from extending out throughout the arm. There's a gentle twist here to the stretch to your lower body. Take a comfortable breath. Release your hand. Hands to shins. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, release. We'll sweep our arms or hands overhead, grounding through our feet, activating our core. Noticing right hand press against left hand press against right hand. We welcome a breath for the day we've had so far. A breath for this moment. Then a breath for the rest of our day. If your eyes are closed, you can gently open your eyes, release your hands. We're gonna shift into an extended mountain pose. So check in with your feet, making sure they're hips width distance apart. You're planting firmly through your heels, distributing weight from the toes to both edges of the feet. You're noticing a line of energy from the base of the spine to the crown of your head. You lift your arms up. Arms radiate up, palms face each other. You can lift your gaze up towards the ceiling. Gently lifting the chin here. Chest is open. Deep belly breath. And then release your hands. Interlace your fingers behind you. Palms touch. Bring your shoulder blades closer together. Here you can lift your chin, your gaze up towards the ceiling. Bend your knees, start to fold down. Forward fold, elbows remain extended behind you. Bring your shoulder blades closer together. Fold here. And then hands to shins. 3 rounds, we're going to inhale halfway up. As you're up halfway, slide your shoulders back is long. Exhale, release, being mindful that head and neck are relaxed. Second round. Sync up your breath, exhaling, releasing, inhaling, lifting halfway up. Exhaling, releasing. This time, we'll roll up slowly, head comes up last. Distribute weight on your heels. Notice that physical sensation of letting go. We'll come into mountain pose. Hands framing your hips. Eyes open or closed. Body is strong. If I try to move you, it'd be difficult to do so because we're so grounded. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. Inhale. Exhale. Now bring your arms out to a T. Now remain here, arms out to a T. You're grounding your feet on the floor. Twist towards the right. You're taking your gaze over that right shoulder to the best of your ability. Ground square your hips towards the front. Your hips will naturally open up towards the right, but to the best of your ability, you're anchoring here and twisting towards the right. Back to center. Opposite side. Take your gaze over your left hand, left shoulder. Square your hips towards the front. Back to center. Release your hands. Inhale, balance. Lift your arms up, 2-legged balance. Palms up towards the ceiling. Lift your heels halfway or all the way up. Keeping your gaze steady. In all of these poses, we look for that effort and that ease. Heels can be lifted halfway or all the way up. Inhale here. Exhale, release your heels. We're going to prepare for 3 sun salutations. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. So I'm inhaling and then stepping back into my plank pose, grounding on my hands right beneath my shoulders. Exhaling, releasing down towards the floor. Inhaling up, upward facing dog. Notice that extension in the spine. Curl your toes. Downward facing dog. Chest moves towards my thighs. I ground through my palms. Heels are lifted. Take your gaze right between your hands. Walk or jump up to your forward fold. Sweep your arms up overhead. Hands meet right in front of your heart center. Take an intentional breath here. By welcoming our breath, we welcome our experience. We release our hands, arms lift. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Plant your hands on the mat. You're inhaling, stepping back into your plank pose. Exhale, release down towards the floor. Stand throughout the spine. Hands remain close to your torso, your chest. Elbows long, upward facing dog. And then lift up, downward facing dog. You always have a choice to take a tabletop as an alternative here. Take your gaze between your hands, walk or jump up to that forward fold. Hands to shins, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release, sweep your arms up overhead. Hands meet in front of your heart center. Final sun salutation. Make it a practice of presence and awareness. You release our hands. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward. Relax your neck, soften your head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Activate your core as you release down towards the floor. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once in your down dog, lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Right knee towards that right elbow, hover. And then lift your leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Once more, right knee towards that right elbow, hover, and release your knee behind your wrist. You're preparing for pigeon pose. Leg is long behind you. And lift your chest here, fingertips on the mat. And then exhale, release. Now, as you release, you can keep your head lifted to soften some of the tension around that right hip. Or you can also drop your forehead all the way down to a fist or all the way down to the floor. About 5 breaths here. Drop your belly towards the floor. Most of your attention should be on that right hip. Inhale, exhale. Curl your left toes. Inhale, hands on the floor, lift up, downward facing dog. Your choice, you can move through a vinyasa. Plank pose down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. And then we all meet at our down dog. Lift your left leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Left knee towards our left elbow, hover here. And then lift your leg, bend your knee, stack your hips. Prepare for pigeon pose, left knee towards your left elbow, hover and release. Check your right leg, and scooch it back a little bit, make sure it's not in the diagonal. And float on your fingertips here. And then exhale, release. Forearms on the floor, you can keep your head lifted, or rest your forehead on a fist, or drop your forehead all the way down towards the floor. Most of your attention is in that left hip. Belly drops down towards the floor. Inhale here, exhale. One more breath. Now hands on the mat. Shift back into a tabletop. Hands are right beneath your shoulders. Knees hips width distance apart. Inhale up into your cow pose. Exhale into your cat pose. Move at your own pace with your breath. Inhaling into cow pose. Exhaling, rounding your spine into a cat pose. Two very simple poses to protect this length of the spine. Lower back, mid back, upper back. One more round, inhaling into a cow pose. Exhaling and rounding your spine into a cat pose. Ground both hands beneath your shoulders. We're going to shift into a needle pose. Ground that right palm on the floor. Lift your left arm up. So I'm reaching my arm up and back. And now release that left shoulder onto the floor. Lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. You can also rest your hand on your lower back. Inhale. And then exhale, release that hand. Keep your palms right beneath your shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Opposite side, lift your right arm up, hold. And then release that shoulder onto the floor. Come into that needle pose. You can lift your arms up overhead. Rest your hand on your back, your hip. One more breath, release your hand, lift back up into your tabletop. Just one cow and cat pose here. Exhale, round your spine. And then release. We'll go ahead and transition to sit in our cross-legged position. Let's take care of our neck first. 3 meditative breaths. Inhale here, exhale. Softening the shoulders, lengthening the spine, chin is neutral. Noticing the effects of the practice in your body. Second breath. Exhale, release. Third breath, inhale. Exhale, release. Drop your chin towards your chest. Roll your head from one shoulder to the next. We'll be here about 10 breaths. This is purposeful to allow yourself time to release and open up in this area, especially because this area carries so much tension, so much stress, our neck and shoulders. When we're not aware of our breaths, we tend to tense up, especially around the neck and shoulders. Release and open up here. Either rotating your head in a full circle or just half a circle. 2 more generous breaths here. You can always work on meditation and bring your head back to a neutral position. 2 more breaths with the neck roll. Head comes back to neutral. Let's keep our gaze open, our eyes open. Find a steady gaze, 1 breath there. Assist with that focus and that concentration. And then we'll start to shift out of the pose. First, a boat pose. We'll bend our knees, soles of the feet on the floor. And so you have 2 options here with your hands. You can take your hands behind your thighs for extra support, or you can lift your palms up towards the ceiling. Now you're activating glute strength, quad strength, and core strength here. You're keeping your back flat and imagining a cord lift your abdomen or your chest up towards the ceiling. Lift your legs, lengthen your legs as much as you can here, palms up towards the ceiling. It's a pose of strength and balance here. Inhale, exhale, lift your core, and then release. You can lengthen both legs, palms up towards the ceiling, round your spine, chin towards chest, hover. Feet can float off the floor. Any shaking is fine. Now drop your head back, and let's take a sigh. Powerful inhale and powerful exhale. Soften neck, shoulders, down the length of your spine, down to your feet. Little mini Shavasana here. 2 breaths, inhale, exhale. We'll start to bend both knees, both soles of the feet on the floor. Lift your hips as high as you can up towards the ceiling, palms on the floor, or interlace your fingers, and then bring your shoulder blades closer together. That's going to give you more lift. Full diaphragm breathing here. Take a powerful inhale and exhale. Your belly has full expansion and room here to inhale and expand as much as it can. Inhale here and exhale. You're engaging your glutes and your quads. You're distributing weight around your heels. And now release your hips back down towards the floor. Butterfly pose. Soles of the feet touch. Take your hands to rest on your belly, your chest. Take 3 powerful deep breaths. These are the breaths you can go back to throughout your day. You can go back to some natural breathing here. If you want to shift your position here with your hands, you can do so. About 5 breaths here in this pose. This is a pose of letting go, of softening the body. You're releasing tension from the neck, down the spine, especially around the hips. Soles of the feet touch softly. You have access to full diaphragm breathing here. However, it is a practice and it's a difficult practice to maintain long breaths over a long period of time. So feel free to go back to a shorter breath. Intentional breath here. Inhale, exhale. We'll start to shift into our final resting pose, or Shavasana. Lengthen your legs. Palms frame your hips, facing the ceiling. There's a diversity of yoga classes that are offered, yet this last resting pose is pretty universal. It's a pose of a lot of wisdom, where your body is allowed to release, to receive, to integrate. It's a pose where you notice the wisdom of doing nothing, just being, no expectations of yourself. You're not doing yoga incorrectly or coming into Shavasana incorrectly. If you have wandering thoughts, do practice just observing them. That's the practice. Soften your forehead and jaw, neck, down your shoulders, and then down the length of your arms, releasing around the wrists and palms and fingertips, perhaps imagining those fingertips float just a little bit more. Release the upper back, mid back, lower back. And soften down the hips, behind the knees, down to the ankles and toes. Observe any thoughts and sensations without judgment. Start to shift your attention back to your breath, inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. You can restore some movement to your fingertips and your toes. You can invite a full body stretch, lifting your arms up overhead, pointing your toes, and or you can turn your body to the left or to the right. Once again, returning to your generous breath, your leisurely breath. There is no hurry. Invite a deep breath. Then after that deep breath, we'll start to make our way up to our seat. You can sit in a cross-legged position on your ankles, or if you prefer to stretch your legs out, go ahead and take a moment to do that. That's not a problem. You've been practicing awareness and presence throughout the class, so let your spine and your chest, your core reflect that. And notice that as we welcome our breath, we are welcoming our experience. So on that note, we'll seal up the class with an intentional breath cycle, taking our hands in front of our heart center. We inhale and exhale in gratitude. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. Namaste.